Hello, Dr. Grant, and thank you for joining me today to discuss about your son EJ in my classroom. Now, he's a pleasure to have in class. EJ has operated very well in the classroom environment. He demonstrates friendly, inclusive, and helpful qualities, and as well as demonstrate a positive attitude. When he displays these qualities as well as having a positive attitude, it spreads throughout the whole classroom, and it fulfills my idea of what a classroom should be. It should be a very welcoming, wholesome, friendly environment where everybody's set up to succeed. His strengths, there are a lot of strengths. He's very dedicated, he wants to learn, and when he demonstrates those two, where he's dedicated and he wants to learn, I very much appreciate it, and all teachers appreciate students that do these two things because it shows that EJ wants to learn. EJ wants to get better at Algebra 1. Whenever we do group projects, he wants to be a leader because he wants to be able to lead himself as well as others to success. And he's also got a good grip of Algebra 1. He told me in a conversation one time that he narrowly missed the Algebra 1 EOC passing score by a couple of points. So this is his second year taking Algebra 1, and he continues to be successful in it. And I appreciate that he continues to be dedicated and continue his successful ways as he has an A in the class, as even though this is his second year. And I love that he asks questions whenever confused. Sorry about my cursor. He asks questions whenever confused because that's because that shows me that you want to get better. It's just like the being dedicated and wanting to learn. If you're asking questions whenever you're confused, you want to make sure that you are going to be successful. And you do that by clarifying anything that you're confused about. His areas of needs are very little. He sometimes gets distracted by communicating with other peers in his classroom while we're learning and while we're doing activities. So sometimes I have to steer him in the right direction. And sometimes his Tourette's might act up from time to time when he gets very stressed. So the whole area of the need is that he needs to be warned of upcoming tests and quizzes or drills such as like fire drills or something, so that EJ is mentally prepared that this is going to happen so that doesn't stress him out. Algebra 1 itself is a class where we cover mathematical topics such as solving equations, functions, expressions, and a lot of these times to prepare for the EOC, we need to use it in real-world applications or world problems. So applying these skills helps, or applying these topics helps the EJ and others develop critical thinking skills, analysis, and justification skills. Now, the class is set up in the class is set up in three stations essentially, or set up as follows. So on day one, we do note taking about the new topic, and we usually do this by doing fill in the blank notes, so it's much easier and less time consuming when discussing new topics. Days 2 and 3, we do a rotation. 3 rotations. First station is a computer station where they go on Khan Academy to work on assignments related to the topic. Second station is independent collaboration station where they do worksheets and do other practice with the topics that we just learned. Excuse me. And the third station is the teacher station where I continue to help students learn the information that we just taught. And students are responsible to complete missing work from all those stations. And EJ so far has been responsible with it, and I appreciate that he keeps doing that because this helps him learn about time management. For one of my lessons that I did, I decided to pre-assess the class, and after the pre-assessment, I understood that EJ and the majority of the class can be able to determine exponential decay and exponential growth visually on a graph, but not in the same way as if it was in an equation, okay? And my point of teaching this is how to teach them in how to apply these formulas in real world situations. So my purpose my purpose was to help them strengthen their skills in those situations. Now, a lesson plan itself, we use the Universal Design for Learning system, and that system essentially means that all students can learn, and we can use multiple methods of learning in determining to help them succeed and help them understand the material. For note taking, we reviewed vocabulary, reviewed the formulas, and we provide examples on applying the vocabulary real world, using real world examples. And that demonstrates the representation part of the Universal Design for Learning, because we're trying to decode any academic language or mathematical terms, symbols, anything. And then we did a group activity where they get to try, where EJ is in a group and all other groups do the same thing, where they do an activity themselves, they do a problem themselves using these large sticky notes. And the purpose of it was to discuss, to see how everybody approaches it. This this supports the engagement as well as the action and expression part of the Universal Design for Learning system. Because we're trying to foster a community, and being able to work in groups gives them an opportunity to learn about each other, as well as it provides another way to learn about this topic. And I say that everybody was very successful in this lesson. And now to conclude, the overall experience with EJ has been very amazing. He has had a positive impact on everyone in the classroom. He has no problems with him, no problems whatsoever. And I just love that he's a great example of how you can succeed in the classroom despite any potential limitations. And he's a true inspiration, and I hope other students see that as well. So I want to thank you, Dr. Grant, for taking the time out to talk about EJ, and I want to assure you that I will do whatever possible to make sure that your child, EJ, succeeds in my classroom. And I wish you a good day.